You know that Steph Curry's three-point shooting ability has been a game-changer for the NBA, but his calm, focused disposition is his greatest strength. And the Warriors need that more than ever right now, having lost Kevin Durant. But Curry was dealing with far more than just a shooting slump, as the double MVP has had to deal with his changing role in his family. After all, it was revealed last year that Steph and Dell Curry's parents had separated and filed for divorce, something that is bound to get in the head of even the most seasoned athlete. Amidst the loss of Durant, let's explore how Stephen Curry feels about his parents' divorce. The state of the Warriors. In the first half of a game against the Pacers last December, in a season where Golden State was a half game behind the NBA's best record, Steve Kerr noticed that Curry was putting up some god-awful bricks in his attempt to take down Ray Allen's three-point record. He'd only converted 29% of his threes over the last two games, and his bricks were screwing up the team's flow. Kerr told him to just let the record happen and not focus too hard on when or how it came. Kerr had come to realize that Curry's instinct meant he needed little coaching, just the occasional reminder that he was awesome, but to remember to relax before he got too wild and ambitious with crazy plays. This was a testament to Curry's demeanor and calm in the face of intense pressure. He usually finds a way. Things at the Warriors haven't been going so well though, as after 5 consecutive finals appearances, the team's constantly injured side spent 2 seasons out of the playoffs entirely. Curry himself would play to accommodate Kevin Durant, but then Durant decided to walk out on them after just 3 seasons, and Curry's game went really downhill. Still, the blueprint lineup is there, with Curry, Thompson, Green, and Iguodala all making up a side that is as formidable as it ever was. Durant's departure. When Durant had arrived, Curry had expected him to mix in well with the Warriors' ways. He thought they'd probably take home a few titles together and laugh all the way to the bank. Talking about the experience, Curry said, "He was our brother." And a month after Durant had signed, Curry had organized an event at his East Bay home where he had balloons spelling out supervillains. This was a nod to the circumstances of Durant's decision, of course. In the court, Curry and the rest of the team tried hard to integrate him into the way they played. However, despite taking 2 titles and 3 runs in the finals, there was deep unrest. The team would often sweep the conflicts with Durant under the rug, pretending that everything was okay and trying to avoid anyone picking up on how heated the arguments could get. Of course, it didn't hurt that the team kept winning, at least initially, but every practice would be deeply analyzed and criticized. Durant wasn't looking for an inquisition, despite that just being the way the team did things. Curry said, "I think the biggest thing was understanding how big the spotlight was from the jump. Paying a little bit more respect to how big a decision that was for him to come here. Because once he made the decision, you almost take for granted the commentary around the league, media, other teams, all that other stuff that you can't really avoid. We thought, and we all approached it, that we could have our own bunker almost and be kind of sheltered." Breaking point. A blow-up occurred when Green, who'd helped to recruit Durant in 2016, called him out on the sideline. Curry, as well as plenty of others, believed that's what started Durant's decision to eventually leave. And a few months later, Curry, at the time returning from a trip to Asia, got a text from Durant saying he was leaving. He headed to Durant's Manhattan home and they discussed everything. Curry said that, "I obviously just wished him well because at the end of the day, if you had decisions like that and you're a grown-ass man that's trying to do what you feel is right for you, I'm not coming in here trying to change your mind." Another example of Curry's level-headedness. Eventually, the deal was struck to sign and trade, and that's how they got D'Angelo Russell. But with the absence of Thompson, injuries to Green and Curry, and then the appearance of the pandemic, basically everything went to hell. Family troubles. To make matters infinitely worse, Dell and Sonya Curry, Steph and Seth Curry's parents, decided to call it quits. The parents of the 4-time champion filed for divorce back in June 2021. And the proceedings went from there. In August, it was alleged and reported by TMZ Sports that Sonya had an affair with former New England Patriots Steven Johnson. TMZ Sports were able to get documents that said that Sonya had begun her extramarital affair with Johnson during their marriage and before the date of separation. And she had lied to Dell each time she cheated on him. The documents also mentioned that Sonya had run off to live with Johnson in Tennessee, but she claimed that she wasn't, saying that she was living on her own because Dell wouldn't let her stay at their home. So yeah, basically he says this and she says that, typical of a divorce. It's a big shame, definitely for fans of Steph who had got used to seeing his parents at the games and now have to see them sitting as separately as they can while both at least supporting their son. Of course, this cannot be harder for anyone than for Stephen and his siblings. It's never a good time to have to go through watching your parents split up, though it is probably easier when you're an adult, and definitely easier still when you're a multi-millionaire with your own kids. New roles. Still, it does mean dramatic shifts in the family dynamic, as the once infallible patriarchal and matriarchal unit is suddenly sundered, and that means that the kids have to step up and perform all kinds of new duties. They'll have to be the glue that holds the family together, and also to ensure that their own children aren't too distraught over the issues caused by the split. This means that Curry has had an extra tough time over the last year, but not one that was enough to stop him from taking home the title with the Warriors once again in the 2021-22 season. Steph has approached the situation in much the same way that he seems to approach every problem in his life, with a level head and a calm, collected demeanor, and that's something that is commendable, especially for such a high-profile athlete. When interviewed by The Ringer, Curry mentioned that navigating his parents' divorce over 3 decades of seemingly happy marriage has been challenging. He said, "I could be mad and be like, y'all left this up. I could have that approach, but it's going to be an acknowledgement of both of y'all in terms of how y'all raised me. The calmness I have in myself is because of y'all. History." In December, of course, Steph would go on to take the record for the most three-point shots made in the history of the sport. He surpassed Ray Allen's record seemingly effortlessly, making the shot without much hassle at all and enjoying the celebration when it came. Of course, his parents would certainly have wanted to be a part of the festivities, and so he approached them individually due to the requirements of the new paradigm. Speaking about the engagements, Curry said, "I had to make sure I was in that moment with both of them separately. And this wasn't just this whole kind of thing," he told The Ringer. "That is how I chose to approach that, because it is challenging." He went on to approach his dad near the Golden State bench and gave Dell the game ball after the Warriors won. Sometime later, he went down the MSG tunnel to see his mother and have an emotional celebration. Father and son went on to party all night in Manhattan with Curry's former teammate, none other than Kevin Durant, as well as longtime friend and teammate Andre Iguodala. What now? What's done is done, and there's very little that Curry or anyone else in his family can do to turn back the clock. Some incredible peaks have been coupled by some unbelievable troughs for the Curry family. And while his parents' marriage has ended, Curry is fortunate to have been raised in such a way as to have the emotional capability to withstand such a hurricane of unrest. Anyone who wants to behold the record for the most three-pointers in the NBA had better have some iron nerves anyway. But what do you all think about this?